What's going on, YouTube? So a lot of times when a brand redesigns a vehicle, they kind of reskin what they already had, but that is certainly not the case with this all-new GMC Acadia. This is longer, wider, and taller by a big degree, and we can't wait to show you guys a detailed first look at this model. So let's not waste any time, let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, of course, the first thing you probably want to see is the exterior design. So let's go ahead and start with that. Obviously, there are going to be a lot of different trim levels of the Acadia, but within the GMC lineup, Denali remains one of the most popular options that people choose. This is the Acadia Denali, and that means you're going to have kind of the most bling of the entire lineup. You've got this nice satin silver finish on your signature GMC grille, so you've got that, you know, kind of nice boxy shape. Like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be wider this year, but obviously the length is really the big thing, and Mason will talk about that in just a moment. Now with the AT4, you're going to get a more rugged off-road looking design that is kind of over there on the other side of me. But in terms of the overall design, I do think it looks very, very nice. One of the premium elements I like are right here, these headlights. And as you can see right on cue, we have the nice animation that runs through. We have the premium full LED lighting on board. And these do look really, really nice with that signature bracket shape. Down below, you also are going to have LED fog lights with the same stacked design and a nice gloss black finish along the lower fascia. Next up, let's take a look at our wheel options. Of course, with the Denali, this is going to give you the biggest wheel option. This is a 22-inch alloy wheel. We have a very intricate looking 22-inch alloy wheel with the contrast design. So you've got kind of a satin silver finish in addition to the other elements. This looks really, really nice. We also have the full body color surround. So you have that around the wheel arches and then a gloss black finish that runs along the lower part. Obviously, Denali branding on board. And we have a mirror up here. This is body colored, has the full complement of features as you would expect as well.
All right, but Drew said the big news about this new Acadia was really its size, and let's go ahead and talk about that. Now, as far as the overall vehicle length, we're looking at 204 inches long, which is about 10.6 inches longer than the previous generation Acadia. And really the reason for that is because we're now moving to the Traverse platform instead of what it was previously. So that's going to give you a lot more space, which we will talk about as we head into the interior part of this review. Now, as far as design elements, Drew already kind of hit everything. It is going to be a very premium look here on this Denali, and we also have some satin chrome roof rails up top. But let's check out the rear, because the rear is going to be completely new for this Acadia. And I have to say, I absolutely love the way this looks here in person. It has that premium design that Denali buyers are looking for, but also a very modern look as well. Now, as far as some of the design elements, we do have a spoiler up top. As you can see, we do have a rear wiper that's trying to wipe right now. And then this whole center section is going to be finished in a piano black color. We have Denali spelled out across the back, and let's look at our taillights. Our taillights are going to have a unique design. Honestly, you guys can let us know what you think of these taillights in the comments below, but this is kind of reminding me of a Honda Accord taillight of the previous generation. So I maybe would like a different shape for the taillight, but overall it's going to have a lot of premium lighting elements, full LED. Heading down, we have GMC branding, the Acadia branding over here, and then down at this lower area, it's all going to be finished in that nice chrome look for a premium design. We also have quad exhaust outlets for this model. As far as the tow rating, it's 5,000 pounds. Now, as far as your safety systems are concerned, I'm happy to tell you this Acadia will, of course, have all of your safety systems. It's additionally going to have available Super Cruise, so that's certainly a very nice feature that we like to see here on this family SUV. So maybe you can take it on a road trip and not even have to drive physically with your hands for a lot of the road trips. So certainly I'd like to see that as an available feature on this new model. But there is a really luxurious interior that we can't wait to show you, so let's check that out. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, you guys definitely want to see the interior of this Denali. So let's go ahead and climb inside. I'll open up the door here. And take a look at just how premium this cabin is. Wow, it really, really stands out. It's definitely giving me Yukon Denali vibes for sure, and it's just a huge step up over that previous generation. Now, before we climb inside, let's take a good look at the seats because this is a good perspective on this. Obviously, we have very upscale looking seats. We have the full leather. We're gonna have the exclusive quilted design here with the perforation. We have Denali branding up there in the headrest. You've got this double stitching detail that you see in a lot of other Denali products, which I really, really like. And in terms of the seats themselves, they look to have a lot of adjustments here. Probably not any extra adjustments though for the Denali versus the other trim levels. Obviously, we're also gonna have memory seats over here, but let's go ahead and climb inside, get into the materials and all the individual features. All right, so let's go ahead and feel around at these overall cabin materials. So starting out with our door trim, you're gonna see a lot of nice materials. Again, full leather through here. We got that same stitching detail. We have the quilted leather through the center section, and we have a lot of beautiful wood trim throughout, including here on the door trim. Now, soft touch materials will be on the top of that. We have a full leatherette covered dashboard, which is very nice. And then you'll notice through here, we have more of this laser etched real wood trim. It's very, very premium looking. We also have real metal speaker grills built in, and we also have really cool ambient lighting, which runs across the dash and the door trim as well. Finally, we have a ton of wood through the center console area, and this is going to be nicely leather wrapped as well. Now, obviously, you are going to have push button start. That's located right here. We're indoors. We're not going to start the vehicle up, but we do actually have the electronics on, so we can go ahead and kind of dive in to our gauge cluster. So, like I was saying, we have a big step up in luxury, but we also have a big step up in terms of technology. So this is an 11-inch digital gauge cluster. GMC is going to be including this standard on all versions of this Acadia, and of course you are going to have it here with the Denali especially. Nice graphics on board, and we do also have a large head-up display at the top. Now, as we pull back, we have a new steering wheel. It does have Denali branding on board. It is, of course, going to be heated. We have paddle shifters on the steering wheel, and it's a nice thick rim design. Again, we also have the Super Cruise system like Mason was mentioning earlier, so this is going to be monitoring you to make sure you're paying attention even when your hands off. And then you've got this bar, which will give you signals if something happens that it needs to deactivate. Let's talk about interior storage. So obviously the vehicle itself is bigger, but we also have more storage up here in the front as well. So our center console, very large. This is going to fit a lot of donuts, I anticipate, when we fully test it out in Kentucky. We also have some deep cup holders right there. If I slide back this piece of wood, we have a wireless phone charging pad, a little bit more storage right there. And then we have a really nice floating console. So you'll notice you have a ton of storage underneath of here where you can store just about anything. And that's because, like a lot of recent General Motors products, we're moving to an electronic column mounted shifter. So you just have that up here where you can control that very easily, and it frees up the brands to do whatever they want to with storage, and I think GMC is taking advantage of that quite nicely. But we can't avoid it any longer. We have a gigantic display on board. So as you can see, we have this cool new orientation. This is kind of a portrait style orientation. So it looks a little bit different than what you see in many GMC vehicles, as a matter of fact. And inside of this display, you're gonna have a lot of features. So I'll start out down here on the lower panel. So as you can see, this is where our climate controls are gonna live. You'll actually adjust your temperature up and down with physical controls that are underneath of the display. So I do like that you have both the digital rendering, but you also have physical buttons, which are gonna be easier for you to reach while you're driving. You also have a physical volume knob built into the display itself. That looks really cool, and it's going to be controlling up to a 16-speaker Bose sound system. So obviously here with the high-end Denali, we've got the 16-speaker Bose sound system. I'm sure that's going to sound great. We don't really have time to demonstrate this because we are on a time constraint right now. But like I said earlier, metal speaker grills, which is a big thumbs up for Drew. Now, the main display itself, 15 inches, so it's a very large display. Right now we actually have on the ambient lighting controls, so I can quickly give you a demonstration of what that looks like as I change through a few different colors, and I can increase the brightness up to the maximum so you can really check that out. Very cool. Let me go back to the home screen and show you guys this. This is running the latest software. So this is going to be an Android-based system. So what you notice on board is that you have built-in things like Google Maps, Google Assistant, Play Store, stuff like that, which is very, very nice. We also are going to have Auto Park Assistant on board as well, and Android Auto and Apple CarPlay will run wirelessly on this system. I'll press this button, see if we can get the cameras to pull up. Well, there we go. So we're able to do that. So this is our 360 camera we get here on the Denali trim level, and it should be available on lower trims as well. Get a nice perspective here where you can switch between a lot of different views. A lot of people also like this one where you can line up your trailer very easily. And then as I wrap up the front of the cabin here, we do have a digital camera rear view mirror. You have some controls up top for our panoramic sunroof as well, which does open up and also has a sunshade.
All right, but let's go ahead and dive into the rear area because, like I said at the side, this thing is a lot bigger than the previous generation. So let's see how it translates in terms of space. Now, unfortunately, I don't have official legroom figures or anything along those lines. However, I can just say there is a ton of space here in the second row of this Acadia. Now, as far as the legroom is concerned, as you can see, I have probably 6 or 7 inches of additional space. I can also slide this seat forward and back a very good distance to give myself even more room to do anything I need in the second row. Here on the Acadia Denali model, we do have captain's chairs. These are once again going to be finished in a beautiful design with the quilting. I just am incredibly impressed by the level of luxury inside of this Acadia Denali. Even stuff like the carpeting is going to be very premium in the rear. Now, as far as those features are concerned, let's go ahead and talk about that. We have the cup holders up top. We also have our own climate controls down here at the bottom. I am noticing that we're going to have heated rear seats. No ventilated seats though, so I do not believe that will be offered here on the Acadia Denali. And then we do have 2 USBs down below that, a household stat outlet, as well as a little storage cubby. I would also imagine you might be able to get bench seating if you prefer that. We have vents up in the ceiling. And then as far as the door trim is concerned, we do not have any rear window sunshades, so that's one thing I'm a little disappointed by, but the door trim is going to be super nicely finished with the wood trim, the more quilted material through there, a little storage cubby, and bottle storage down in the very bottom. And let's check out the third row because that's also going to be an area where this vastly improves. So in order to get back here, we just press this button right here, and that's going to allow the seat to slide up and tilt out of the way. And then getting into the third row itself, let's go ahead and dive into this space. Now, I'm 5'9" for reference, so keep that in mind, and this seat is slid all the way back for maximum second row space. But this area is very, very impressive, guys, for a family 3-row. This is going to be the same as what you find in something like a Chevy Traverse, which is sporting one of the best third rows in the entire segment. And as you can see, the thigh support is very good. The seats are very comfortable. I can lean back and kind of relax in this third row. As far as how it lands on our third row rating scale, I'd say this third row is fit for adults. It's really quite impressive, especially if you slid this seat forward a little bit more to give additional leg room. Now, as far as features, we have cup holders, USB ports, and we have vents out of the roof, but we're not going to have a heated third row or anything along those lines. But let's check out the cargo area because this is an area that we do have some numbers on. Now, of course, we do have a hands-free power tailgate as an option. And then as far as this area, look at this. Behind the third row, we have a ton of space. Now, we don't have the official number. However, we do know it's 80% more than the previous Acadia behind the third row. So that is, of course, a huge improvement when it comes to overall cargo capacity. If you fold the second row seats down, you're looking at 36% more cargo capacity compared to the previous generation. Now, if you're wanting to know the numbers officially, we don't have those just yet. However, we can insert the Chevy Traverse, which of course this shares a platform with, and you can expect to find very similar numbers for this Acadia. Now, as far as features, we do have a power folding third row, so all you do is just press that down, and that's going to fold the seats down. Of course, the second row is kind of folded up, but you can fold those down with the press of a button, and this is going to be your maximum cargo capacity. Very impressive amount of space in this new model. It's probably one of the biggest areas of improvement, and additionally we have this huge space down under the floor where we can store things.
Now, at this point of the video, you're probably wondering what is under the hood of this next generation Acadia. Well, you're actually going to have a new powertrain that eliminates the previous V6 and replaces it with a 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Power output on this is going to be very healthy, 328 horsepower and 326 pound-feet of torque. Now, you're not going to have any available hybrid system at this current time, but you are going to have standard front wheel drive and available all-wheel drive offered across pretty much the entire lineup. Now, in terms of the transmission, this is going to be an 8-speed automatic transmission. And then, of course, there's not going to be any official fuel economy ratings at this current time from the EPA, but we will keep you posted as we get more information on this when this becomes closer to its on-sale date.
And when it might be available will be early 2024 according to GMC. However, it is kind of already early 2024 right now, so I would expect maybe mid-2024 as an expected launch date for this new Acadia. Now, as far as pricing is concerned, GMC hasn't officially released those details. However, we do expect that this is going to carry a pretty premium price tag, especially after experience it here in person and all the luxury features that you're getting in here. I would expect probably over a $60,000 price point for a Denali that's fully loaded out. Now, if you're looking to buy this Acadia or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, why you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local dealers in your area to get you the best price on your new vehicle. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealer negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies. We really appreciate your viewership and support.